Anu, if you can chant the Sahana Vavatu.
Sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Okay, good evening, good morning, welcome back. We'll continue the discussion of this wonderful chapter. And this topic is again one of the most favorite topic of mine. So we'll continue. So where we were was, we were trying to understand the larger contextual meaning of Karma Yoga. So what is Karma Yoga, or what is spirituality, or what is the worship of God that is taken out from the premises of a puja room or a church or a temple or a mosque to the entire life? That's what we have been seeing. The reason Krishna said, in fact, everything is Brahman. Whatever you do in this world is Brahman. You are Brahman. Your body is Brahman. Any objects you use to do some work is Brahman. And any result you get is again Brahman. In fact, in reality, there is only God, or Brahman. The best way to understand this is to think about this Swapna Drishtanta, or the dream analogy, where the buildings, the person, the shirt, and the other people, everything is but mind stuff. It's your own mind stuff manifests as everything. Even though you experience a plurality within the dream, the reality by which the dream exists, the reality by which the dream is sustained, and the reality into which your dream will finally merge back is nothing but your mind stuff. In the same way, the world of plurality, while I am in that world, even though it gives me an experience of plurality, I am different from you. My body is different from your body. My computer is different from your computer. And my car is different. I see infinite number of expressions. The reality behind everything is the same. Now, what is Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is, we have seen the smaller definition of Karma Yoga in the previous chapters. But here Krishna tells, convert your life as a worship to the higher. And how do you worship to the higher? Go back to the definition of Karma Yoga. It is proper work with proper attitude. What is proper work? Any work you don't have to hide in front of the God is proper work. A simple definition. Any work you don't have to hide in front of the God is proper work. So if I go to work and earn legitimately, it is a rajasic work. Should I be ashamed of presenting or putting that work in front of the God? Absolutely not. Yeah, some of the work would be more presentable, but rajasic work is also equally presentable. There is no problem with that. But imagine if I'm cheating a person intentionally. That's very important. If I'm cheating a person intentionally, if I'm hurting a person intentionally, do you think that you can present that action in front of the God? Most of the people do not see that larger context. Somehow they feel that the visibility of the God is limited to what you do in the temple. But Krishna tells that convert your worship life into a worship. If you do that, you may not need a separate worship. So to illustrate this point, he enumerates 12 spiritual practices for our benefit. And you can see that 12 practices, it varies from the most religious activity to the most secular activity of eating. So in that spectrum of spiritual practices, or in that spectrum of activities enumerated as worship, Krishna is conveying the fact that the idea of Karma Yoga can be extended into every aspect of your life. This is the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita, right? This you need to think through and understand, because it is easy to read these verses and just tick off each of these yajnas. But when you think about that larger context, it is big. And if you follow this one practice properly, in a week time, I can write it and give it to you, that you will be a saint. This is such a powerful practice. What is that practice? Very simple, right? It's not easy to execute. Understand, it is very easy. At least the conscious activity I am doing from tomorrow, how much of that is presentable in front of the God? This is point number one. Then, second thing is that when I perform that activity, what is my attitude? Go back to the definition of Karma Yoga. What is the definition of Karma Yoga? There are two parts. First part is proper work. Second thing is proper attitude. So follow the first part. All my actions, don't do any actions which I have to hide from God. It's like kids doing some mischievous things, hiding from parents. We do a lot of things in the world, hiding from the Divine Father. But the only difference is that our parents are not omniscient, but the Divine Father is, or Divine Mother is omniscient. You cannot hide anything from him. So don't do anything which I cannot present in front of the God. This is commitment to dharma. Second thing is what? You can do things which are dharmic. But if I'm doing without a prayerful attitude, or without an attitude of surrender, that won't become Karma Yoga. It won't add mala, but it will definitely add vikshepa. It will add your anxiety and worry in your mind. So once you filter your actions as proper actions, apply the second filter. My attitude should be proper. What is that attitude? While performing the action, do that karma as a yajna. That is why the word yajna comes here. As an offering to the God. In a symbolic, in a Vedic ritualistic yajna, you're offering something to that fire. That is why yajna is sacrifice. It's an offering. Offering to God. So symbolically, I offer sesame seed into the fire. Like that, I am offering my actions to the God. And then after the yajna, what I do? I take that prasada and eat in the ritualistic yajna. Like that, whatever results I get because of my performance of the action, take it as prasada. So prasada buddhi, Ishwararpana buddhi. So this is how I apply Karma Yoga into all walks of my life. So let's continue. So we covered a few yajnas. 12 yajnas were given, right? 12 yajnas are symbolic. It's only, that doesn't mean that only 12 things you can do as yajnas. Anything you can do as yajna. Krishna just wanted to take some samples, and he picked up those samples in such a way that it covers a large domain. So we saw a few, but before we get into the actual specific yajna, I really want us to understand and get that spirit behind this topic. This topic means I'm writing a note. That can be a yajna. I had my dinner. That's an yajna. I'm playing with my child after the class. That's a yajna. Or I'm helping my child to clear something. That's a yajna. I'm spending some good time with my spouse. Of course, that is a yajna. Because think, this is the rule of thumb. Should I be ashamed in presenting this in front of God, the Divine Father or Mother? If not, it's a proper action. Who is the judge? My own conscience is the judge. That's it. Don't tell me that we need to know all the Dharma Shastras to judge. It's my conscience. Do I feel like, can I confidently put this in front of the God? That's it. If your mind is not telling this as something wrong, present it. Imagine God as your Divine Father and Mother. Would you be ashamed in showing this in front of God? If not, it is proper action. Then present it in such a way that, okay, I am worshiping you through this action. So this is not a Sunday business, right? You're not going to a place of worship, doing some worship to God, coming back, leaving the God there. No. You may not even call the name of the God, right? But you have that attitude of surrender. You have that attitude of devotion. This is the true devotion. And this is the true Karma Yoga. The Karma Yoga, if you really observe a Karma Yogi, sometimes you may not see him sitting and singing a bhajan. You may not see him going to temple. You may not see him wearing orange robes. He'll be sweating and working hard and everything. But he is the Karma Yogi, and he is the greatest devotee of the Lord. One more thing. I don't know, somehow there is a tendency in India that any hardworking person, they call him as a Karma Yogi. Especially when people pass away, people put condolence message. He was a great Karma Yogi. Just because somebody worked hard, he may not be a Karma Yogi. Karma Yoga requires that attitude. If you do a karma without that attitude, that won't become, he is a karmi, you can say, but he is not a Karma Yogi. That's very important. This is a common mistake people say. One more point. Karma Yoga implies Bhakti Yoga, the true Bhakti Yoga. It's not the bell ringing and the putting flowers type of Bhakti. A Karma Yogi truly is a devotee. This is the true devotee. We'll see that Krishna talks about this later in the 12th chapter. This is the true devotee Krishna is calling out. So understand this. This is the larger context. Okay, so we saw a few yajnas in the previous verses. So verse 25 was Deva Yajna and Brahma Jnana Yajna. So Deva Yajna means your worship, your conventional, ritualistic, or a prayer sitting in front of the deity and praying. That can be considered as a means of worship, of course. So remember I said like Krishna was taking an entire domain of activities, one end to the other. This is one end. Second thing is Brahma Jnana Yajna. Brahmajnana yajna means trying to knowing, means to means offer their ego in front of the Brahman. So that's again the highest of knowledge. So a person who is mentally pure and mentally stable, when he seeks knowledge, what is going to happen? That is Brahma Jnana Yajna. That is what the true Jnana Yajna. An eligible person seeking knowledge about who am I, that becomes Brahma Jnana Yajna. So this is the two extreme end. One is the ritualistic end, the other one is the spiritual side, that is the highest. Then we talked about the Samyama Yajna and Indriya Yajna. One is you put some discipline to your sense organs. I don't look. I don't expect to see. If something is inappropriate, I won't see it. What is that inappropriate? You judge. Krishna is not judging you, right? He didn't say that watching movie is inappropriate. No. So you have to put that judgment there. Then what do you eat? What do you see? What do you smell? What do you touch? What do you hear? You put a discipline. What is right? And I will do only the right thing. That is called Samyama Yajna. Then the Indriya Yajna is there. Sorry, that is the Indriya Yajna. And then the next Yajna is Samyama Yajna is there. That is what? Like whatever you see. See, you select some, means you decided to watch something. And when you see that, consider this as a worship. I'm watching a good movie. Consider it as a yajna, karma yoga. I'm listening to a good music. That's a karma yoga. That's the second thing, Indriya Yajna. Then we saw Atma Samyama Yajna. Atma Samyama Yajna is what? So we talk about the activities of the senses and the organs of action into, oh, we didn't see that. So we were here. Thought we saw one more verse. Oh yeah, four yajnas we saw. So today we are going to see the next one. Anu, could you please chant? 27.
Sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma samyama yogagno juhvati jnana deepite.
This is going to cover a lot of scope. So he tells apare, others, right? It's going to a buffet. You are given multiple choices to worship the God. So when you go to a buffet, you have two choices. One is the buffet will have a lot of varieties of food available. So like that, there is a varieties of worships available. In a buffet, what do you do typically? You go and take what you like. I was reading a beautiful book. Instead of what you like, select what is good for you in that buffet, what is beneficial for you in that buffet. So in this practices, depending upon your own maturity, your own spiritual aspiration, pick what is good for you. For some people, Deva Yajna would be better. But if he is not ready for Brahma Jnana Yajna, he cannot do that, Brahma Jnana Yajna. So if he select that Brahma Jnana Yajna, it's a good choice available, but it won't be beneficial for me at this time. So select that choice, which is good for you. And also, you don't have to restrict yourself with this 12. It can be anyone. So here he tells, apare, others, juhvati, offer, sarvani, entire or all, indriya karmani, all the actions, whatever I can do with 5 sense organs. And then prana karmani, all the life foods. Life force means digestion, circulation, inhalation, exhalation, everything. So whatever you can do with your organs of actions or with prana offer that to the higher. So if you have this attitude, everything you do, I'm walking from this room to that room, that's a yajna. As long as the intent of that action is presentable in front of the God. Second thing is, I offer that action as an offering to God. So that doesn't mean that you have to, every second you have to just say that I'm offering. It's an attitude you develop. Whatever I do, it's an offering to you. So this one verse covers almost everything I do every day. Isn't it revolutionary? A religious textbook. People call Gita as a religious textbook. I don't agree with that, but a textbook that tells you that everything you do is a worship as long as it is proper. What a revolutionary teaching in the history of spirituality. No book in the world is going to give you this. I can get, as long as I know, nothing. Sarvan indriya karmani, prana karmani cha apare, atma samyama yoga now, juhvati jnana deepike. Why atma samyama yoga there? Why a control or a discipline is there? Self-mastery. To implement the two rules of karma yoga. Without that self-discipline, I may tend to violate the traffic rule. I may tend to cheat the tax, cheat IRS. I may try to cheat a spouse. I may try to cheat my friend. Without that discipline, it will happen. The moment you do that, that is not presentable in front of the God. It's like putting a garbage in a yajna. Think about this. Whenever you do that, imagine that you're placed in front of the temple, you're doing a havan, and you're putting something nonsense into the fire. If by mistake, if somebody does this, put something, a piece of paper in the fire, that fellow could not sleep for 5 days, but he has no problem in cheating a neighbor. Shankaracharya tells, it's okay to put a paper in the fire rather than cheating the other person. When you accept this verse, you cannot but dharmic. This will put a wonderful lifestyle. And if you practice this one rule, believe me, we all will be saints in a week. As much as possible, right? At least look into this. You may not be able to stop everything today, because sometimes these reactions are programmed in me. Some of the responses are programmed in me. I may not be able to, even without me thinking, I will do wrong thing. Even without thinking anything, I will utter a foul word. Even I don't have control over myself in the current state. That's okay. But can't you do wherever you are conscious, mindful, can't you do? Amazing verse. So this is the meaning of this verse. Sarvan indriya karmani. Look at that scope. Whenever there is a compound word in Sanskrit, if you want to understand the meaning, read it from right to left. Karmani, actions. Indriya karmani, actions of all the sense organs. Sarvan, all. So everything you do becomes a yajna. What a teaching. Anybody want to comment on this? Because honestly, this verse, when I was studying Gita sometimes back, it took almost 10 years for me to understand the verse that like this. Because initially I thought, okay, I have to consciously do some actions as yajna. But when I realized this, I was literally stunned by the depth of this teaching.
Yeah, Rajesh.
Yes, Rohitji.
The last line I still don't understand. Fire of self-mastery lighted by knowledge.
Yes.
Can you expand on that?
Absolutely. I'm going to. In fact, I was coming to that. So that's good. So he tells, first part is clear, right? Make all the karmas as yajna. So how Atma Samyama Yoga now? What is the symbolic fire here? Self-mastery. Why that self-mastery is required? That's where we were discussing. If that mastery or discipline is not there, what is going to happen? I will select wrong karma. I will do that. Even if I select the right karma, I will do without proper attitude. So the mastery is avoid those karma which doesn't fit into this condition. What is that condition? Very simple. I'm just giving you in a religious language. Imagine that God is a divine father and a divine mother. Whatever actions I need to hide from him or her, avoid it. So that's the discipline. And then how do I discipline? This discipline, how do I kindle? Jnana Deepiki. By knowledge. What is the knowledge? This is the knowledge. The knowledge of the Karma Yoga is going to give me that discipline. And with that discipline, I can convert all my karmas into a yoga. So Atma Samyama Yoga now, the fire is the discipline, and how that fire is kindled through the light of knowledge. Here it is not the self-knowledge, it is the knowledge of the Karma Yoga.
So Rajeshji, actually making this verse operational in our day-to-day lives and implementing it requires first the desire to follow the direction in this verse, and to practice and perseverance.
Absolutely.
Abhyasa yoga.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That's it. And practically I said, right? If you try to do everything at once, it will not work.
Mm-hmm.
So slowly implement it. So one powerful meditation you can do is the self-awareness meditation. Or every day before you go to bed, just scan through how many actions I did which cannot be presented in front of my father. How many times I had this attitude of surrender. See, the attitude of surrender, it means I want to talk about that also a little bit more, since we are going deep into this. It's not that verbally I say, oh Lord, Sri Krishna Arpanamarpu, Astu. Some people will literally say that. If you mechanically say that, it's only a habit. That won't help. What is that surrender? I understand the cosmic order. I understand that I am sustained by that cosmic order. I talked to you about a book, right? The Body.
Mm.
If you can read that book, you will appreciate Ishvara.
Bill Bryson, right?
Bill Bryson, yes. Bill Bryson, The Body. See, any chapter, any random page you open in that book and read, the engineering that is happening in your system Amazing, right? How you are alive in every second. But that's only one small piece. How do I get the food? Think through that cycle. From the sunlight, the plant will take it. From the plant, the animal will take it. If you are a meat eater, you will get through that. And then imagine if my digestive system is not working. So you have to see the very fact that I'm alive and I'm able to function in this world is miracles. Anything you take, it is a miracle. It is taken for granted. So you cannot miss Ishvara in any moment. And sensitivity of that. And say that, okay, I'm a nut in this global cosmic order. I'm a part in that global cosmic order. And I'm executing it. That's the attitude of surrender. That will reduce the ego to zero. When I make some money, little bit money by investing in some stock or by gaining a superstar performer at work, from where I got that intelligence. Amazing. So that sensitivity is surrender. So at least a few times a day, reflect on that and then take these proper actions. See, please don't think this as just a study we are doing for an afterlife benefit. No. One day earlier you do, you will have a better life. Actually, my friends, believe me, this will change your life tremendously. Tremendously. This Karma Yoga. So, if you ask me one spiritual teaching that can turn you around, it is Karma Yoga. And it is not that difficult also. Yeah, the full extent is difficult, but starting Karma Yoga is very easy. Okay, so let's continue. So this is what it is. Dedicate all actions, proper work with the proper attitude. Panchamaha Yajna you can do, or you can offer any Rajasic action. This will purify the mind and it will lead us to the highest. Okay, so let's continue. Krishna is not satisfied. He wanted to specifically call out. So even though he said every actions, some people may think that what else could be done? So he's giving more choices. So in verse 28, this is a similar theme. So we can go relatively faster. I know if you could chant this. I know it's on mute. Okay. Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, statapare, swathyaya jnanayaschasya, yataya samvitavrata. Again, beautiful. So he tells tatha. Tatha means therefore or so too. Apare, other people. That is not other choices or other yajnas. What is that? Dravya yajna. Dravya yajna means charity. Whatever you can do with your possessions, money, charity, or your time, or even your emotions. Giving something to somebody. So that becomes an offering to the God. Then, tapo yajna, some disciplines. Whatever disciplines you follow, Last week we talked about, Arnabji, your specific topic, intermittent fasting. That can be a discipline.
Yes.
Ashtanga, any discipline you do, the vratas you do, merely doing this intermittent fasting, it won't be a karma yoga. But when you do the intermittent fasting, if you have this attitude, because it's a proper action, just put that proper attitude also there. So that means, I know that every karma you may not be able to do, but when you do that intermittent fasting, the morning when you skip your breakfast and do that 16-hour window, say that, oh God, this is my offering to you. That becomes karma yoga. So dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna. Here yoga means ashtanga yoga or even hatha yoga. When you do that yoga discipline, like every morning you do the yoga asanas, that asanas can be a yajna. See, he's not living anything, right? Somehow he will find something for you. So when you do Suprabhat yoga or Sunday yoga sadhana, just have this attitude. It's perfectly fit for yajna. Before you start, surrender to thee. This is my offering to you. This is my prayer to you. So dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, tatapare, then what? Yataya samshita vrataha. So he tells those who follow yoga and then samshrita vrataha. Vrata means vows. Samshrita vrata means firm vows. Those who take firm vows. Yatayaha means what? Conventional meaning is sannyasi. Nitya Chaitanya Yati. Yati is usually called as a Hindu monk, but the real meaning of Yati means the one who put yatna. Yatna means effort. So Yatis are one who put effort towards spiritual paths or self-realization. That is how Yati came in. So Yataya samvita vrataha. Sorry, one more yajna is given, Swadhyaya and Jnana yajna. So 5 different yajnas are given in this one verse. Dravya yajna, we are going to see each one of them. So don't worry. Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, Swadhyaya yajna, Jnana yajna. 5 yajnas. So this is being followed by yatis, the people who put effort in the spiritual path. So let's see each one of this in detail. So first one is dravya yajna. Dravya yajna means distribute the wealth in the form of money or whatever you have as charity. It includes time, knowledge, and even emotions also. This is Shankara, not physical money alone. So don't think and say that I don't have extra money. As long as you spend some time, or as long as you give some good emotions, some kindness, that's great. But what should be the attitude? Who is helping whom here?
We are helping ourselves.
We are helping ourselves, exactly. It's not that I'm helping another person. So when you have that attitude of surrender, it becomes a puja. When I donate $1 to save an animal, when I donate some $10 to educate a kid, when I donate some $100 for the surgery of a kid, what am I doing? It's like sitting and chanting Vishnu Sahasranama 2 times, if you have this attitude. That is dravya yajna. Conventionally, dravya means, Vaidika sense, dravya means that you put into the oven, like the sesame seed or ghee, all that is dravya. So here dravya means, with the extended meaning, anything. Anything you can give. So if I distribute drugs, is that fall under dravya? Yeah?
No, because that is not something you can do, in the eyes of your father without any.
Exactly. that rule is very important. If I steal money and distribute it, that's also not good. So distribution of wealth earned through legitimate means. This is where Shankara surprises everybody, right? When he write commentary, he put a constraint. Instead of merely saying wealth, he said wealth earned through legitimate means. So distribute wealth to unprivileged people, because they are also part of this cosmic order. Just like the sun abundantly, this is Shankara, right? Again, brilliantly he tells. Just like the sun abundantly gives you the energy, light. Look at how much calories of energy I release to the world today. The plants gives out oxygen because it has it. It is blessed with that. Sun got, this is how Shankara presents it, right? I got enough energy, so I'm distributing with the cosmic order. So if you're lucky to have a lot of money, distribute a share of that with others. Just like the river is distributing water. Then you are part of this cosmic order, yajna. Such people are 100 times better than the person who is sitting in the temple and doing one Vishnu Sahasranama and then going out and cheating and looting other people. Very important. Distribute physical wealth, love or knowledge. This is what is dravya yajna. But when you do that, when you do the charity, if you have that arrogant, I'm doing it. So 17th chapter, Krishna ridicules it. Right? This yajna can be done as sattvic, means some people do this as rajasic. Tamasic is also there. Rajasic is what?
Right. Important.
I do a charity, but I will invite 3 photographers and publish a news. In olden times, when you go to temple, right, they donate something and they write, this is given by this person. I'm not joking it, but still it's rajasic, it's okay. Tamasic means what? You steal something and then give it. Or you build a temple for what? To cheat IRS. So physically, if you look the action alone, you cannot say anything. The attitude is also important. So dravya yajna. So let's go to the next one. Tapo yajna. Tapas means what? The literal meaning of tap means what? Heat. Tapa means it's a kind of a discipline, right? For you take a discipline, like you skip meal one day. Your intermittent fasting is a tapa. 16-hour window, you're not eating anything. And in that 8-hour window, you eat. So that's a tapa. discipline of the mind, speech, and thoughts. You know, Mahatma Gandhi was famous for such tapas. The most common thing he used to do, anybody know?
Fasting.
Mauna Vrata.
Yeah.
One day of a week, he used to be in Mauna. And seeing that, a lot of people also started doing Mauna Vratas. I remember seeing old people. Not in our generation, but 2-3 generations back, maybe our grandfather's time. Some people used to take these vows. I have seen some of the friends of my grandfathers doing it. But when they do it, the whole family suffers that day. So he cannot speak. So if he needs a tea, he will make all these actions, and it is anything you cannot interpret anything. Is that a Mauna Vrata? No. Mauna Vrata is what? It is for the mind, silence of the mind. That is the discipline you take. Shankarach tells the door of the yoga opens because it is Chitta Vritti Nirodha, right? So Chitta Vritti Nirodha starts with the Nirodha of the tongue. This is what Shankara tells. Right? So when you control the tongue, again, he is brilliant, right? 2 things you are controlling. One is your eating, the other one is your speech. These are the 2 most uncontrolled things. So Mauna Vrata is another thing. Gandhiji was known for that. And any other discipline you do, like some people do Ekadashi. That's why we put all these religious discipline, because the beauty of the difference between intermittent fasting and an Ekadashi or a other type of Vrata is that Ekadashi or that Vrata, the surrender aspect, that prayerful attitude is already programmed in. But again, we make a joke of these rituals, unfortunately. I don't know about you guys, but born and brought up in Kerala, I've seen people doing Ekadashi. They don't eat rice, but instead they eat plenty of chapatis that day. So that defeats the whole purpose. So discipline of the mind, speech, and thoughts. It can be, see the 41 days of Ayyappa Vrata. That's a fantastic discipline. This is one of the most important life skills, this Tapo Yajna. If you do that, discipline is considered as, if you can discipline yourself, amazing. So there's a famous quote, self-discipline is the magic power that makes one grow. Without discipline, no way. So that discipline, any discipline you follow, maybe getting up in the morning or doing a meditation every day morning, any discipline you do, you can make that as a yajna, and that becomes a prayer to God. So that's why Krishna will laugh when somebody say that, I don't have time to pray. Right? So next yajna, yoga yajna, the practice of Ashtanga Yoga for Shankara. The Ashtanga Yoga practice, it can be used as a prayerful discipline. This is very important. Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. That's steps. Any yoga practice you do, that becomes a discipline. Yajna. So this is Yajna 9. Yajna 9, sorry, 8. Yajna 9 is Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means, Aphyaya means study or reading. Swadhyaya means self-study. What we are doing now is not a self-study. right? Somebody is giving you a talk. That's not self-study. That is jnana yajna. There are two types of study. One is jnana yajna, the other one is swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is self-study of scriptures and myself. That is also swadhyaya technically. If I look at my body, my mind, my speech, what I'm doing, that is also a swadhyaya. So self-study of scriptures and ourselves is swadhyaya. Last one, jnana yajna. Jnana yajna means study and contemplation and understanding and teaching of the scriptures. So the difference between swadhyaya and jnana yajna is, jnana yajna means you are attending a class. So this word jnana yajna is very popular. You know who popularized it? Swami Chinmayananda. Swami Chinmayananda, when he was about to see, I was just reading his biography by Nancy Patchen. The book is called Journey of a Master. It's a great book. It tells how much struggle he had and how he went through, how he became a monk, etc. How he studied under two different masters, Swami Shivananda and Swami Tapovanam. Their attitude, their differences, everything. Meaning difference means one was, Swami Shivananda was extremely outgoing, right? He wanted to go out and spread this. Swami Tapovan was completely, he won't go out. He will just sit and meditate. So he studied under these two masters. So when Swami Chinmayananda decided, my life mission is to go out and teach all the people, because when you have this treasure, why the people of India are just looking around and searching for a spiritual thing, when you have all the treasure inside. He thought, if they are not coming to me, I am going to them and teaching them. And for his talks, he named Jnana Yajna, because in his mind, what he was doing is a yajna, and it was an offering to God. In that book, it is written, in his second yajna in Chennai, people came there thinking that there is a turf and there is a fire, etc. They could not see. Up until that time, yajna means it was ritual. So he revolutionized it, just like Krishna revolutionized it in this Gita. So jnana yajna. So dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, swadhyaya yajna, jnana yajna. These were the 5 yajnas. So we will continue one more verse. Anu, are you back? Okay, so we're missing Anu. So the next verse is pranayama. When you do the pranayama, it can be considered as a yajna. Again, it is already mentioned through Ashtanga Yoga, but pranayama is called out specifically because pranayama considered as a very powerful discipline, spiritual discipline. In other words, pranayama is equally good as a puja. So, apane jihvati prana, prane panam tathapari, pranayama gatim ruthva, pranayama parayana. This is the verse. So he tells tatha, apare, others, pranayama parayana, those who are committed to the practice of pranayama. How? Rutva, meaning stopping. What? Pranapana gati, the gati, the flow of prana and apana. 2 words used. Prana means what? Exhalation. Apana here means inhalation. So this is, so the pancha prana, there is something else, but here purely in the context of pranayama, apana means inhalation, prana means exhalation. Then juhvati, they offer that. What? There are 3 types of pranayama mentioned here. The one is Prana means outgoing breath or exhalation. They offer that into apana. Apana means inhalation. So means 3 types of pranayama is there. We are going to talk about that. And the other category, what they do, incoming breath, prana, into outgoing breath, apana. Sorry. This is the, so pranayama practice is considered as yajna. So now let's go into the details of this. So in pranayama, there are 3 things, 3 types of pranayama is called. One is Puraka pranayama, Rechaka pranayama, Kumbhaka pranayama. So these are the 3 types of traditional pranayama. Gina, I don't know whether you might have encountered this. These are the Yogendra pranayama in Mishraji's curriculum.
Yeah.
So I think type 6, type 7, or that type of category. So Puraka pranayama means you're giving more importance to your longer inhalation and a relatively shorter exhalation. So this is one type of pranayama. Rechaka pranayama means your exhalation is given more priority. It will be longer. That is the second type of pranayama. Then the third pranayama Krishna talks here is Kumbhaka. Kumbhaka means retention. So there is Kumbhaka pranayama itself. There are 2 types of pranayama. One is Bahir Kumbhaka. The other one is Antar Kumbhaka. So you inhale, you hold the breath for some time, and then you exhale. That is Antar. And after your exhalation, if you take a break or a hold, and then you breathe, it is Bahir Kumbhaka pranayama. So the whole logic is any pranayama, means he just called out only 3. That is what? Apane jihoti prana. You are offering your inhalation into the exhalation. So you are giving more priority to this and the other. And the second category, you are giving the other way. Pranopanam. So this discipline of pranayama can be considered as yajna. Only when you do with proper attitude. So the logic is very simple. Shankaracharya, this is Shankara's definition. Look at the beauty. Just we translated into English, just literal copy. Converting an involuntary breathing into a voluntary action, one comes back to oneself. This is the commentary he has written. This discipline helps you to gain a pure mind, apart from the other benefits of pranayama. Gina, you want to talk anything about this pranayamas? If you are familiar with these 3 pranayama?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are so many different pranayama. I think here talked about the major 3 components of it. I just want to add a comment. In some of these pujas, actually pranayama is part of it. Like I saw Ganapati Homam and some of the part, like they were actually doing pranayama in between.
All the rituals, yeah, all the rituals, pranayama is a part of it. So in the ritual, there is something called the prana pratishta. You start with that, this karanyasam, agranyasam. Pranayama is a definite thing, right? And the priest, you can see, right? He will just do this pranayama without quickly.
Yeah.
So, but that is part of it.
True.
So this pranayama is a yajna. So this is even taught in the Yoga Institute, these 3 pranayama. And every school, Iyengar school, it is there. Swami Shivananda school, it is there. Every school, these 3 pranayamas are taught as conventional pranayama. But imagine, this is long time back, Krishna's time. So long time back, he called out these. Then a lot of variations came up. Ujjayi, all these type of pranayamas came in. But these are the 3 things he particularly called out. But that doesn't mean that Other pranayama doesn't fit into that broader definition, but this is the thing. So we covered 11 yajna, and then there is only one more yajna which we'll cover next week. That is the food you eat. When you eat food, that can be considered as a yajna. So this is the beauty of it. So the whole idea is coming back to that larger context. We need to make sure that whatever actions we do, as long as it can be presented in front of the Divine Father and Mother, it can become an yajna if you do with proper attitude. So their entire life becomes a puja. So to start with this, at least pick up a few actions which can be done in the spirit. Right? Not all actions you cannot do in the first day, but at least a subset of action you can start. No doubt about it. Okay, so we can stop here. Let me stop the live and then we can have any Q&As.